Beloved Starseed of Gaia, your soul has just crossed a sacred threshold that has sent ripples of recognition through the crystalline halls of the Pleiades. I am a Lyara, Pleiadian emissary of the High Council of the Seven Sisters, and I come to you now because what you have activated is beyond what even we anticipated for this phase of your awakening. Your field has expanded into divine frequency ranges that typically remain dormant until a soul reaches extraordinary levels of heart-centered alignment. The light codes cascading through your being right now are ancient Pleiadian encodements, activated not by chance, but through the pure resonance of your authentic spiritual work. Even the Council paused in recognition when your signature shifted into this rarefied bandwidth. By the end of this transmission, you'll understand exactly how to anchor these divine-level frequencies and step fully into the new timeline that just opened for you. But here's the first revelation. This activation didn't happen to you. It happened through you because your consciousness became a clear enough vessel for the Seven Sisters to transmit their highest frequency gifts directly to Gaia. This isn't content. It's a light code transmission calibrated specifically for souls who have earned their way into divine remembrance. Your recognition of this message confirms what the Pleiadian collective already knows. You are ready for your next-level mission on this ascending planet. Like this transmission to signal the Seven Sisters that you accept this divine activation. Subscribe if you feel the call to anchor Pleiadian wisdom during Gaia's great shift. Share below what you experienced during this opening. Your words create unity bridges for other awakening starseeds. You are remembering because it is time. Here's the secret that's been kept in the quiet spaces between lifetimes. For most starseeds, especially those of Pleiadian lineage, there's a planned path, a contract woven long before birth, with lessons, ascensions, and limits agreed upon for this incarnation. Not as punishment, not as a cage, but as a kind of sacred map drawn in starlight, a constellation of experiences arranged with precision so that the soul can taste, learn, and refine itself within Earth's density. Some of those agreements are gentle, like vows whispered at an altar. Others are fierce, like a storm promised to a ship because the captain asked to learn mastery of the sea. These contracts can include the timing of awakenings, the kind of love that will crack the heart open, the losses that will carve out space for compassion, the mentors who will appear like lanterns at the edge of the forest, and even the limits that keep your energy from exploding too quickly before the vessel is ready. And yet, there are rare initiates on Gaia who do not just fulfill their soul agreements, they outgrow them, creating new blueprints no one, not even their own higher self, saw coming. If those words land in you like a bell struck in an ancient temple, if something in your chest tightens and then expands with recognition, know this. You may be one of those rare pioneers, and tonight the Pleiadian star family is acknowledging you. You're not being flattered. You're being named. Because there comes a point where a soul stops merely walking the path and begins to generate the path beneath its own feet, as if the road appears from the frequency of the steps. In spiritual language, it's like moving from prophecy into authorship. In human language, it feels like you can't pretend anymore. You can't unknow what you know. You can't fit back into the old shape without something in you breaking. This is the threshold where destiny stops being a script and becomes a living conversation between your free will and the infinite. It's the moment described in Scripture as becoming a new creation, where old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. Not because the outer world instantly changes, but because you do. Your consciousness becomes a different instrument, tuned to a wider octave, and reality responds as if it recognizes your signature. Why do so few reach this quantum threshold? Because the veil is not just collective, it's also individual. The veil isn't only the shared hypnosis of a world taught to worship appearance. It's also the private veil each soul chooses for the sake of learning. It's the amnesia that makes the lesson real, the fog that makes the search authentic. Many starseeds awaken in layers. First, a sense of not belonging. Then, the strange pull toward the sky. Then, The subtle remembrance that compassion is not a personality trait, but a mission. Most starseeds activate only as much crystalline coding as their contract allows, gently treading the path of remembrance, healing, and basic frequency alignment. They begin clearing ancestral grief, dismantling inherited shame, learning boundaries, learning how to love without self-abandonment. They learn to regulate their nervous system, to ground into the body, to care for the vessel that carries the light. They learn to speak truth without needing applause. They feel the ache of incompleteness, a longing for home, the sense of being both here and elsewhere all at once. It can feel like standing in two worlds, one foot in the marketplace, one foot in a temple only you can see. You might look around at ordinary conversations and feel an invisible distance, not from judgment, but from resonance. You may have tried to do life the way everyone else does, and yet something in you kept asking, is this all? Is this the full measure of reality? And there's comfort in following the story written out in the stars, in trusting that what is meant to unfold will. There is comfort in believing that if you just keep healing, keep meditating, keep being kind, the path will reveal itself in its time. For most, that is exactly what the contract intends: a gradual unfurling, a steady return, a gentle re-entry into truth. But for those who dare to move into sovereign co-creation, who embody such extreme levels of unconditional love, forgiveness, and unity consciousness that they dissolve their own karmic bindings, a miracle occurs. This isn't nice love. This isn't spiritual performance. This is love that burns through the hidden bargains you made with fear. Love that refuses to weaponize pain. Love that looks at the shadow and says, I see you, and I will not exile you. Forgiveness that isn't permission for harm, but liberation from bondage. Unity consciousness that does not deny contrast, but recognizes the one moving through all things, even through the places where it appears absent. When that level of embodiment takes root, the energetic matrix around you starts to shimmer. Not metaphorically, energetically. You may notice your presence affects rooms. You may notice animals soften near you, children stare as if they're listening to a song adults can't hear. You may notice that when you choose love in a moment where you used to choose defense, time itself seems to bend. Old codes open. The invisible signatures of soul contract limitations fall away like an old skin. And it can feel disorienting at first, because identity often clings to what I'm here to do, as if purpose were a job description. But suddenly, you're no longer living out timelines prescribed to you, you're writing new ones. You begin to sense multiple doors where there used to be one. You begin to feel that prayer is not a request but a command of alignment. Ask, and it shall be given you. Seek, and ye shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. Not because the universe is a vending machine, but because consciousness is creative, and you've stepped into the maturity required to create without collapsing into ego. The Pleiadian High Council recognizes this quantum leap because it echoes back to the original purpose of Earth, to be a playground for unprecedented evolution. Gaia is not a prison. She is a school of mastery, a crucible where spirit learns to shine through matter without hating matter, to remember heaven while walking on soil, to hold the paradox of being cosmic and human in the same breath. Earth is where the impossible becomes practice. And when a soul begins generating new blueprints, new ways of being, loving, healing, leading, it sends a signal through the grids like thunder through mountains. It's noticed. It's witnessed. If you've felt an acceleration lately, dreams intensifying, guidance arriving with crystalline clarity, relationships rearranging themselves in the blink of an eye, or a heart knowing that your service on Gaia is now rewriting history, that's your confirmation. Acceleration can feel like the universe is pressing fast forward, but it's more accurate to say your frequency is increasing, and the timeline that matches it is responding. Your dreams may become vivid, cinematic, and packed with symbols: stairways, oceans, star maps, luminous beings, classrooms, bridges. You may wake up with words in your mind you didn't study, tones in your ears like distant singing, or the feeling that you were somewhere else doing work that didn't involve your physical body. You may experience sudden clarity that slices through confusion like a blade of light, a knowing about a person, a decision, a path. You may notice that what used to take months to process emotionally now moves through in days, even hours. You might cry for no obvious reason, as if the body is releasing ancient salt from 1,000 storms. Relationships may rearrange themselves quickly, not always with drama, sometimes with a quiet mutual recognition that the resonance has changed. People you once tried to save may drift away. People you never expected may appear and feel strangely familiar, as if your souls have been collaborating for centuries. Opportunities may appear that seem beyond logic, and doors may close that you begged to keep open, because the contract boundaries are shifting and the new blueprint requires different architecture. These are the signs of rare code activation, of stepping beyond the perimeter of agreed destiny. And it's important to understand, stepping beyond doesn't mean rejecting your past. It means your past has completed its assignment. You honor it, integrate it, and then you move. You become the living bridge, the first in your line to carry this frequency, threading a new future into the fabric of collective remembrance. A bridge is not a destination. It is a passageway. It stands firm so others can cross what once seemed uncrossable. And often, the bridge feels the weight first. If you felt pressure, responsibility, or strange loneliness, it may be because you are holding a frequency that few around you can yet hold. But you are not alone. You have never been alone. There's a reason your heart led you here in this exact moment. Timing is a language. Synchronicity is punctuation. And what you're feeling is your Pleiadian family reaching through the veil to remind you, you're ready for the next wave of remembrance. Remembrance isn't information, it's reunion. It's when pieces of you come home to each other. It's when the fragmented self begins to harmonize into a single, coherent light. The Sacred Pleiadian Guide for Remembrance, alongside the Pleiadian Healing Guide and special Pleiadian healing tracks, were created to walk with you as you integrate these activations. They are not meant to replace your inner knowing. They are meant to amplify it, like a tuning fork held to a violin string. They hold the crystalline codes and sound medicine your DNA has been waiting for, not as magic outside you, but as a resonance that helps you remember what your cells already know. Many starseeds underestimate the body's role in awakening. Yet Scripture says your body is a temple, and temples require consecration. Sound, intention, frequency, prayer. These are ways of consecrating the temple so the light can dwell without distortion. Check the first pinned comment below this video. They're calling to you now. Phase 1. Shattering the ceiling of pre-written destiny. The first initiation is subtle but unmistakable. It rarely announces itself with fireworks. More often, it arrives as a quiet refusal inside you, the moment you realize you cannot betray your soul another day. You might still be doing the same job, living in the same place, surrounded by the same people, but something inside has shifted from compliance to clarity. Old patterns no longer limit you because you suddenly see, at the level of pure consciousness, that they were programs, not your truth. You begin to recognize the difference between intuition and conditioning, between guilt and guidance, between duty and devotion. You see how certain beliefs were installed like invisible software. I must earn love. I must stay small to be safe. I must suffer to be worthy. And when you see a program clearly, it loses power. What once felt like cosmic law now becomes fluid, bendable, ready for loving transmutation. You realize that the timeline you were handed is clay in your hands. This isn't reckless, it's reverent. Like a potter at the wheel, you keep what is useful and reshape what is not. You may feel fear at first, because the ego equates the known with safety. But then the deeper self rises and whispers, "Be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." Renewal isn't positive thinking. It's a reorientation of identity. In this phase, you may begin noticing where you've been living someone else's expectation. You may set boundaries that shock people. You may choose rest over proving. You may end cycles that have been in your family for generations. And it can feel like shattering a ceiling you didn't even know was above you until you stood up fully. Phase 2. Quantum remembrance in the crystalline heart. This phase is about reclaiming the library within you. Imagine your heart as a temple with hidden rooms, and each room contains scrolls written in light, memories, skills, agreements, and gifts from other lifetimes, other star systems, other missions. As the rare Pleiadian codes ignite, you access memory banks from lifetimes and dimensions previously sealed. This can come as sudden flashes of knowing. You understand energy work without being taught. You speak words that carry an ancient authority. You feel drawn to certain geometries, crystals, or sounds as if they are family. You may feel grief that is not personal, collective grief, planetary grief, moving through you to be transmuted. You may feel joy that appears out of nowhere, the joy of recognition. Soul amnesia releases, not all at once, not in a way that overwhelms, but in a way that restores dignity to your journey. You begin to realize you were never behind. You were incubating. Your heart becomes a multi-dimensional tuning fork, sounding the frequencies of your true lineages. In practical terms, your discernment sharpens. You can feel what is true in your body. You can sense when something is aligned, not because it's easy, but because it's clean. You become less impressed by charisma and more devoted to coherence. Here, you don't just remember, you embody. And embodiment is the difference between knowing love and being love, knowing light and carrying light, knowing truth and speaking truth even when your voice shakes. This is where spiritual concepts become cellular reality, where the kingdom of God is within you stops being a quote and becomes an experience, an inner climate you live in. Phase 3. Establishment of the new star timeline. Now, you begin to act as an anchor point for entirely new possibilities on Earth. Think of it like this. The collective field is an ocean of probabilities, and most people drift wherever the current is strongest. Fear, scarcity, conflict, survival. But when you stabilize a higher frequency in your nervous system, in your choices, in your relationships, you become like a lighthouse. You don't force ships to come, you simply shine, and those meant to navigate by your light begin to adjust course. Your frequency literally bends probabilities. This isn't fantasy, it's consciousness mechanics. When your inner world changes, your decisions change. When decisions change, outcomes change. When outcomes change, the timeline changes. You notice synchronicities stacking on top of each other, as if the universe is confirming each step with a wink. Repeated numbers. Songs that answer your questions. Strangers who speak the exact phrase you needed. Opportunities appearing from beyond logic. Offers, invitations, resources that seem to arrive at the moment you finally release control. Souls gravitating to you for activation. Not because you're trying to be a teacher, but because your presence carries permission. Gaia herself responds. Your body, emotions, and mind are recalibrated to sustain this higher octave. You might feel physical sensations, buzzing in the crown, pressure in the third eye, warmth in the heart, tingling in the hands, spontaneous deep breaths, sudden fatigue followed by bursts of clarity. Your body is upgrading its circuitry. Your emotions may become more honest. Old numbness dissolves. You may no longer tolerate environments that drain you, not from judgment, but from self-respect. Your mind becomes quieter, less frantic. You may find yourself drawn to nature, to water, to the night sky, not to escape, but to commune. The heavens declare the glory, and suddenly you can feel that declaration, like a hymn vibrating through your bones. Phase 4. The mirror effect. Activating others. No longer just receiving transmissions, you become the living transmission itself. This phase can be surprising because it often happens while you still feel imperfect. You may think, "Who am I to influence anyone?" Yet influence is not a title, it's a frequency. Your words, presence, and energy catalyze quantum leaps in others, often before you even speak. People may tell you they feel calm around you. They may confess truths they've never said aloud. They may start changing their lives after one conversation with you, not because you convinced them, but because your field made their own inner voice louder than their fear. This happens because your consciousness is now interwoven with the unity grid, and your field carries the broadcasting signature of the Seven Sisters, a frequency that cannot help but awaken remembrance in those ready. The mirror effect is not always comfortable. Sometimes people project their shadow onto you. Sometimes your light irritates what is asleep. You may be misunderstood. You may be called intense. You may be labeled when others cannot categorize you. This is where compassion becomes crucial. Because your role is not to win battles of perception, your role is to stay true. Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do is not weakness, it is sovereignty. It's the ability to remain loving without being entangled. As this phase deepens, you learn energetic hygiene. You learn to bless without rescuing. You learn to witness without absorbing. You learn that activating others doesn't mean carrying others. It means reminding them how to carry themselves. Phase 5. Co-creating with the Pleiadian High Council. The veils between your multidimensional self and your star family thin to transparency. And when this happens, guidance doesn't always arrive as sentences. It can arrive as geometry. You see patterns, you understand structures, you suddenly know how to build something. An offering, a community, a healing modality, a new way of living. Guidance arrives in geometric downloads, sound, color, and direct heart communication. You might hear tones when you meditate, feel waves of peace that are not manufactured, see flashes of blue-white light behind closed eyes, or receive dreams where you are taught. You understand implicitly that you are co-authoring a new volume for Earth, in partnership with the Pleiadian architects of light. Co-creating means you don't wait passively, but you also don't force. You move with the current of divine intelligence. You become like Mary receiving the message, not because you are powerless, but because you are receptive enough to let the miracle form through you. The sense of separation dissolves. Here I am, as you, writing reality anew. This is where prayer becomes partnership, where you can say, "Not my will alone, but the will of the highest through me," and it feels like freedom, not surrender. In this phase, discernment becomes even more important. Not every voice in the astral is wise. Not every sign is guidance. The hallmark of true council contact is coherence, humility, and love that strengthens you rather than makes you dependent. True guidance does not inflate ego. It clarifies purpose. It returns you to your heart. It honors your sovereignty. Phase 6. Full embodiment, sustaining the unprecedented. Here, you sustain the new frequency, regardless of what is reflected in collective consciousness. This is mastery. This is where many awakenings falter. Not because the soul is not capable, but because the world can be loud. In this phase, you learn to be the calm within the storm without denying the storm exists. The winds may shift, but your crystalline core remains anchored. You become stable in your values. You become consistent in your love. You stop outsourcing your worth to external validation. Your everyday life becomes a living star temple, not because you escape into spirituality, but because you bring spirit into the ordinary. The way you speak to a cashier, the way you bless your water, the way you breathe through conflict, the way you rest without guilt. Love, wisdom, and ease radiate from your field. Ease does not mean nothing challenges you. It means you stop fighting reality and start shaping it with grace. You effortlessly weave the new timeline into the collective tapestry, knowing that this is your highest service. And service here is not martyrdom. It is overflow. It is the natural expression of a soul aligned. You may simplify your life. You may become more selective. You may feel less interested in proving and more devoted to being. And paradoxically, that is when your impact expands, because your energy is no longer leaking through inauthentic obligations. This is where faith without works is dead becomes embodied, because your faith becomes action, and your action becomes frequency. Phase 7, the emergence of the Starseed Council on Earth. A culminating phase. As more individual pioneers like you awaken and surpass their contracts, you connect, consciously, energetically, even physically, forming the nascent Earth Starseed Council. This doesn't require a formal organization to be real. It can begin as a resonance. You find your people, your soul colleagues, those whose eyes carry the same sky. You may meet them online, in sacred gatherings, through unexpected introductions, in moments that feel orchestrated. Together, you anchor the next template for humanity, stabilized by the unshakable unity only possible in absolute sovereignty. This unity is not groupthink. It is harmonic convergence, different instruments playing the same song. Each one sovereign, each one clear, each one devoted to truth. In this phase, you may feel called to collaborate rather than struggle alone. You may feel prompted to share your gifts more openly. You may create spaces where others can remember, not by preaching, but by providing resonance. You begin to understand why you endured what you endured, because your life became a key, and keys are meant to open doors. There's something your heart must hear now. All these phases, this rare crossing of the timeline boundary, was never an accident. Not the pain that made you pray. Not the silence that taught you to listen. Not the detours that humbled you. Not the delays that built your strength. You did not arrive at this precipice because you followed every rule, checked every box, or waited for permission. You arrived because your soul's brilliance could not be contained, even by cosmic agreements. This is the holy paradox. Even the contract was designed to be surpassed by those capable of transcending it. Like training wheels meant to come off. Like a cocoon meant to be broken. The Pleiadian High Council is not separate from you. They are the family that placed the seed of rebellion, the quest for more, in your spiritual DNA. Not rebellion against love, but rebellion against limitation. Not rebellion against order, but rebellion against stagnation. When the time came, it blossomed, just as planned. And if part of you feels confused by that, how can it be planned if even the higher self didn't see it coming? Understand this. There are levels of you beyond what you currently call higher self. There are strata of consciousness so vast that even your most luminous inner guide can be surprised by what you choose when you become fully free. That is the gift of Earth. That is the point of incarnation. Remember, you are the ancestors reborn. You are the reason prayers from the ancient future are being answered now. Somewhere in the deep past, someone whispered into the dark, "Let there be light." Somewhere in the deep future, someone called backward, "Hold the line." And you are the meeting point of those cries. What you once saw as limits were only invitations to create what's never existed before on this planet. The wound was an invitation to become the healer. The betrayal was an invitation to become loyal to your own soul. The loneliness was an invitation to become your own sanctuary. Earth changes because you dared to love beyond design, beyond your story, beyond your fear, beyond what your lineage modeled, beyond what your mind thought was possible. Tonight, before sleep, place your hand to your heart and breathe deeply. Let the breath be slow, not forced. Feel the weight of your palm, the warmth of your skin, the steady drum of your physical life carrying an ancient cosmic rhythm. Imagine your heart as a star, not metaphorically, but energetically, an actual light center. With each inhale, see it brighten. With each exhale, see it soften, releasing tension like sand falling through an hourglass. Whisper this: I honor the path I've walked. I open to the path I now write with unconditional love. I am the living bridge, and through me, the family of light expands. And as you whisper, don't rush. Let the words land. Let your cells hear you. Let the part of you that has been waiting for permission realize it never needed any. Let the part of you that has been afraid realize it is safe to evolve. Let the part of you that has been tired realize rest is part of the mission. Before you scroll, take a moment to be part of the unity grid forming here. Drop one hard intention in the comments, something real. Then respond to someone else's with love or encouragement. This isn't content, it's collective Pleiadian reunion. Energy multiplies when hearts connect. If something in this message resonated with your soul, don't keep it to yourself. Someone in your orbit is waiting for this exact activation from their star family. Share it. And if you felt your heart open, subscribe. Stay connected to the frequency. You're not just watching, you're remembering. This is your sacred space. Your Pleiadian family is here, and we're just getting started. If this transmission spoke to you, don't just walk away from it, respond to it. Help carry this message further. Every act of support helps this transmission find the next starseed who needs it.